Shalom! Welcome
to eTeacher Biblical.
My name is Sigal. We are in lesson number 20. Wow! We have gone so far. So, what is this lesson about? We are going to start talking about verbs in Hebrew. This is quite an interesting topic to discuss because English has so many verbal forms and Hebrew is way more limited. But we will talk about it later on. Right now, what we want to see one pattern, which is going to be called katal. Look at the chart here of this pattern. And you can see that the pattern is going to show you each one of the persons, because each person is going to take its own different pattern. So if I want to express a verb in this pattern, for I would say katalti. You masculine singular, katalta. You feminine singular, katalt. He katal, she katla, etc. I know right now it doesn't mean anything, but what you can notice very well, you can notice that each one of them is highlighted at the end in red. And why is that? Because this is actually the subject. Why? Because Hebrew likes to have the subject within the verbal form. So you have the verb and you have an additional component, which is the subject. So the subject here in this pattern will appear always at the end. You always want to find what is happening at the end and accordingly to know which kind of subject we're dealing with. Why is that again? Because let's go to the other chart, the chart that shows the correlation. Look how each or most of the forms are going to show the correlation in between the verbal form and the pronoun. And you can also listen to the music. Katalti and ani. So you hear the E at the end, you know you're dealing with first person subject. Katalti is going to be expressing some kind of a verb like I did something. Katalta would be expressing something, you did something, etc. In order to make it way more clear, let's go and see an example from Genesis 3:10. So, Vayomer et kolcha shamati bagan va'ira ki erom anochi va'echave. Do you see the verbal form we have seen here? It is highlighted in brown, shamati, and shamati means I heard. So we want to look for two components. We want to look for the notion of the hearing, and we want to look for the component of the subject, I. Again, it is going to appear at the end, in the T suffix. You are going to see that everywhere within katal verbal forms. You're going to look for the suffix for finding your subject. Why don't you translate it right now? Vayomer, and he said, et kolcha, your voice. You see the pronominal suffix, of course, kolcha. Shamati, I heard. Bagan, in the garden. Va'ira, and I was afraid. Ki, because. Erom, I was naked. Erom anochi, I was naked. Va'echave, so I hid. That's it for now, and we are going to meet again in lesson number 21. I'll be seeing you then. Toda rabba, להתראות.